show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's September 23rd, 2021. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, flying solo this morning, talking about the news of the day. And a lot, as always, for you guys to absorb and embrace on the website this morning. Those of you that didn't get a chance to listen last night to the Lamar Thomas show, I strongly encourage you to go back and look at the podcast. Just an amazing show. 2.5 plus hours of real talk. We had Randall Hill, Donnell Bennett, Chad Wilson on the show, and talked to him a little bit about the fact that his two sons went to the University of Florida and, you know, what problems Miami's having over at American Heritage, getting the great players to come through that school, to come to the U. And, you know, he gave some great answers and some great insight. Just a really good, solid show for you guys to listen to in your leisure and enjoy. Also on the website this morning, we got the return of the Tyreek Stevenson blog, and a hard week for Tyreek. You know, he had a tough game against Michigan State, and this was not an easy blog for him to do this week, but talks a little bit about, you know, some of the mistakes he made in the game, the mindset that he has to keep to try to bounce back from those mistakes, and the mood of the team. So a lot of good insight from Tyreek in this week's Tyreek Stevenson blog. One of the more interesting stories of the week was a byproduct of our interview this week with Central Connecticut State coach Ryan McCarthy. And you know, so much of the time when you talk to coaches, all you hear is cookie cutter, canned responses and things like that. This guy was so refreshingly candid. And, you know, maybe it's the fact that he doesn't do a lot of interviews. He doesn't do press conferences. There's not that type of media demand at Central Connecticut State. This is a school where the home stadium has 5,000 seats. Okay. I mean, what they're doing playing Miami, neither he nor I could tell you. You know, he was funny. He's like, you know, the schedule comes out and he's circling like Southern Connecticut and Wagner on the schedule. His players are circling Miami, and you know, they're obviously excited to see what they can do against the U, but they can't match up in any way. And I hope that this thing is a polished performance by the Canes. You're going to be playing the young quarterbacks and give them a chance to play. But I hope they play well. I hope the Canes light up the scoreboard. I hope a lot of these young kids that haven't had a chance to play the first few weeks of the season get a lot of playing time to start developing their game. And to me, that's the best that the Canes can get out of this. I don't know. I hate these games. I don't see a lot of point, but it's on the schedule, and it's this year's money game. And the timing's kind of good because the team's beat up, and obviously they have Virginia coming in next Thursday night. So make sure you look at the interview with his coach. And one of the things that he talked about very candidly, which was kind of stunning, quite frankly, was he was talking to us about how when he reviewed the game tapes of Miami's first 3 games this year, he noticed a pretty wide disparity between the effort level being exerted on the defensive side of the football against Alabama and the effort level that he felt he saw in the next 2 games against Appalachian State and Michigan State. And if he's seeing it, you know that Manny Diaz and the coaches are seeing it. And look, getting the players interested is going to be an issue for this game. They could be half interested and still dominate, but a little concerning that there's clearly an attention issue on the team, and it's certainly something that Manny Diaz is dealing with. And it reminded me when I asked him after the Appalachian State game about the challenge of bringing a team back from that experience in Atlanta. You know, you think about it, you're all keyed up for a new season. You're all fired up about your team. You go to Atlanta to play Alabama, and they blow you out of the stadium. And now you have a whole season left to play, and you know you're not that good. and that you can't match up with the better teams in college football, that's a psychological blow. That's a tough hurdle to come back from. And after listening to Coach McCarthy this week, I'm not sure that they've still recovered from that, and I'm not sure that didn't still have something to do with what we saw against Michigan State. But they caved under the pressure in the fourth quarter, 1-2 now on the season, trying to claw their way out from it. And it's going to be a long road, let's be honest. You're talking about for the season to be successful, you got to win the Coastal. Well, think about what they have ahead of them. They're not going to be able to lose more than one game the rest of the way and win the Coastal, more than likely. So it's going to be very interesting the rest of this season. We're already hearing all the noise. Obviously, there's a lot of chatter out in the community. The natives are restless. The Canes Nation is up in arms. Not going to get a whole lot out of this outing on Saturday. I'm not sure how many fans are going to be in the stands, but hopefully it goes well. The young players play well. I think it's important that the young quarterbacks play well, because you're one play away from needing Tyler Van Dyke or Jake Garcia to pilot this team. And it's a little scary when you put it in those terms, but this is an important Saturday. If you just want to look at one thing, it's an important Saturday for those two kids alone to go out there and just show that they can handle running the offense on a Saturday. All right, other stories on the website this morning. We take a look at 5 burning questions going into the Central Connecticut State game. Think you'll enjoy that. We have a story on Romello Brinson earning reps and emerging at the receiver position, a crowded receiver position, but a true freshman that had a great fall camp and now is getting a chance to line up on Saturdays. And he didn't look out of place on Saturday against Michigan State. The moment was not too big for Romello Brinson, and I think you're going to see a lot more of him this year. He's a young kid that seems to be progressing quite a bit. Also on the website later today, you'll have our You Bet CaneSport show with Lee Sterling, the renowned sports handicapper. And Lee got it right last week. It wasn't an easy pick for him. He's a huge Canes fan. He was at the game as a Canes fan. But when he put his handicapping hat on for us on the You Bet CaneSport show, he said, take Michigan State in the points. And he ended up being right. He thought the line should have been 2 or 3. It ended up being 6 or 7. And he was spot on that one. His other pick last week was take the points with Florida against Alabama. That turned out to be an easy win. So it's fun getting the sports handicappers betting angle from Lee every week. And he has a lot to say about a lot of different things on today's show. There's no line on the game this week, so I made him make a line for us, just so he could make a pick. So I think you'll get a kick out of that as well. Okay, one other story on the website this morning. We take a look at we get an update with linebacker commit Justin Medlock, who's continuing to be recruited by other schools. People are looking at the struggles that Miami's having on the field, and they're going after all these commits, and they're checking in and making sure, hey, are you sure you don't want to consider? Looks a little shaky down there at Miami. Very important that the season turn around, not just for recruiting, but I think the other thing that you have to remember these days is that the transfer portal is now a weapon. And there's back channel conversations with high school coaches and things like that. Other schools are going to look to poach players. There's already rumors about Leonard Taylor in Florida this early in the season. So there's a lot at stake because players do get that one transfer where they can go and switch schools. And, of course, recruits aren't committed yet. Signing day is not till December. So a lot on the line for Manny Diaz with so much focus on him and the job he's doing. A lot on the line for the kids, especially the ones who have not been playing as well, who might be fighting for their playing time because the coaches have made it pretty clear they're not going to be afraid to make lineup changes. And the veteran players that aren't playing well could start finding themselves on the bench watching the younger kids. So we'll see what happens. Should be a pretty pedestrian day this week at Hard Rock Stadium, but continued good content on the site for you. Tomorrow, we're going to bring to you a unique feature, and we did an NIL deal with Zach McLeod to produce a cinematic story on his time at Miami. And we'll be rolling that out tomorrow. Came out pretty nice. I think you'll like it. Something a little different. It'll be bringing it back, the Zach McLeod story. It'll debut on the website tomorrow. So a lot going on here at CaneSport.com. NIL, the Central Connecticut State game, Lamar Thomas Show, CaneSport Live on Tuesday night. Hope we're bringing you a lot of enjoyment and helping maximize your fan experience with this wide variety of content that we're introducing this season and right here on our YouTube channel. So that's going to do it for today. I hope everybody has a great Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.